Hi there, today I have the KBA01 boroscope from KAIWEETS on the bench for review. This may surprise you because such a tool is more at home in car repair, but I'm not demonstrating how to use it in plumbing or examining intake valves. Instead, I think such a tool can be quite useful in repair from electronics as well. The KBA01 was sent to me at no cost, so thanks to KAIWEETS for that. The specs are on the box. It has a nice high resolution. The camera is just 8mm in diameter and is IP67 rated, so you don't need to be afraid of getting it wet, although that may be more a thing for plumbing than electronics. Besides the boroscope itself, you get a USB cable, a 32GB storage card, a manual and the usual accessories that attach to such a camera like side mirror and a hook or a magnet. But enough of looking at the box, let's open it. Inside is a nice storage container of almost the same large dimensions as the outer cardboard box. It contains a handle with a display on top and a relatively rigid cable of 1.5 meter length coming out from it with a camera on the end. The cable rigidity explains the large storage container. You can't coil this one up very tightly. At the side of the display is a rubber flap that covers the USB-C port and the slot with a 32GB storage card. Plugging a USB cable in and the boroscope is starting to charge. The big wheel on the handle allows to articulate the camera head remotely. It is only in 2 directions, not 4, but just 2 is already extremely useful. The other very useful spec for electronics is that the camera focus range is from 2 cm onward. Where a boroscope with articulation and a 2 cm focus comes in very handy is for inspection of a device that is constructed in such a way that examining the components without tedious disassemble and desoldering of interconnections is not possible. Here I am already on the way out from inspecting the electronics within this PCB sandwich because, frankly, I forgot to hit the recording button on the way in. This kind of inspection can be very useful to quickly determine how things are interconnected mechanically and electrically, or if there are any obvious signs of damage before powering it on. Another job for an articulating boroscope is trying to find out if the mains transformer in this device is actually wired for 240 volts. It is easy to take the lid off, but the transformer sits in a gap between the PCB on the top and the bottom plate, and it may need quite a bit of dismantling to get to it, which I'd rather not go through if I don't have to. The situation is a bit confusing, which is not because of the camera, but because they used 2 blue wires for different purposes and then tied them together, so it's not easy to see which one goes where. But here's the money shot. The brown wire should be at pin 3 for 240 volts and it isn't. So I have to dismantle, but now at least it's clear that it's really needed. Just to finish this story off quickly, here are the blue wires in the clear and it's still not easy to see which one goes where. Anyway, desoldering the brown wire and moving it to pin 3 and testing and checking that the voltages are all that they should. All that's needed is reassembly and the job's done. The other day I got these used speakers from Panasonic. Removing the cover shows a 3-way system, but these days tweeters may actually be fake and just look like active systems. Taking speakers out from the front would damage the finish. While I could remove the bass reflex cone on the rear, the presence of this viewport allows the insertion of a boroscope to have a look around inside the loudspeaker. Here we go, but in the interest of time I cut this video a little to speed things up. Emerging into the box, there's the upper part of the bass speaker and part of the midtone. Bending the camera head upwards and we have a good view of the midtone speaker. Screws are secured with glue, good to know. Moving further upwards we have a view of the tweeter. Looks real, and wires are attached to it. And back at the level of the reflex cone, bending the head almost 180 degrees backwards, we can see a bit of the rear of the connection panel containing the 3-way splitter. The camera claims to be IP67, so let's test this by inserting it into a jar full of slightly salty water. To have something to look at, I inserted 2 wires and connected them to some 30 volts DC for a bit of electrolysis action. Here's what the camera sees. Sorry for the jerkiness. I did not hold it very steady. Lots of hydrogen bubbles at the negative end. while nothing appears to be happening on the positive end. Instead there is some whitish stuff. This is because the salt breaks down into chlorine that dissolves into water, so no bubbles, and sodium hydroxide. Anyway, enough chemistry. The point is that the camera works just fine underwater. Let's wrap this up with a closer look at the buttons of the borescope, which is extremely easy to operate. A long press on the power button turns it on. The button with the light bulb image changes the intensity of the light at the camera front. By default, the mode is to take still pictures, but pressing the M button toggles that between video and still images. The button with the gear symbol opens the settings. Video resolution has 3 choices. The default is the highest, 1080p. Same choices for still images. You can enable or disable audio recording. Date tag toggles the insertion of time and date into videos or stills. Time setting allows setting time and date. Next, you can set an auto off time, change the screen brightness. The memory shows how much of the storage card has been used, and you can do formatting. Outside the settings menu, the down key flips the screen image and the up key allows zooming in, and that is it in terms of functions. Plugging the USB cable in while the camera is running just charges the battery. To download the images or videos via USB to a computer, I found the easiest way is to turn the camera off. Then plug the USB-C cable in. Then press the on key. And you get this screen that allows you to use the up-down keys to select the allow and then press OK. Now the memory card in the borescope appears as a folder in your computer, allowing you to copy the videos or images. Last not least, the accessories. They come in a small tube and consist of a hook, a side mirror and a magnet attachment. They all get screwed to the front of the camera. I already attached the lens protector, so before attaching any of the others, that has to be removed first. If none of the others are needed, KAIWEETS recommends to keep the lens protector on. I showed probably some more unusual ways of using a borescope. If you are into building models, this would be another very satisfying use of an articulating borescope. For a long time I already had one of those cheap borescopes that you plug into your phone on a long USB cable, but I was never satisfied. The minimum focus is usually more than 4 cm or 1.5 inch, making reading of close component values impossible. And the soft wire and lack of articulation severely limits navigating the camera. The KBA01 is so much better, and I want to thank KAIWEETS for sending it in. If you are interested in getting one, I'll leave a link in the description. If you like my videos, don't forget to like and subscribe and maybe considering a Patreon. That would really help this channel. The link's in the description. Thanks for watching.